my first ever book meeting with the publisher. This is happening. I have never experienced such intense imposter syndrome in my life. I don't know what to do with myself. I have this desperate urge to get myself out of this contract because I'm just so scared to write this book. I don't feel worthy enough to write it. I don't know, even though I made a YouTube channel where I give people advice about studying, I still have this part of me that's like, I don't have a PhD in study methods. Like, why does my voice matter in this space? Like, why should people take my advice? And sometimes when I sit down to try and write it, that's the narrative that I keep feeding myself, and then I just don't write, and it's really unproductive, and it's really scary. And right now I've sat here and I just can't imagine the whole book being finished. If future Jade is watching this with a written book, that would be a miracle, because right now I don't feel like it's possible. So I just emailed a bunch of the StudyTube gang and asked them to contribute to my book. Why does this whole thing feel like such an ode to StudyTube? Oh my god, I have 2 more weeks to finish my manuscript. I also have 4 assignments to do and a presentation and 6 classes. Future Jade, if you're watching this and you've written a book, I am so proud of you. You did it. I haven't done it right now, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I wrote a book. When I first started making videos on YouTube, I was literally just that nerdy girl at school who was obsessed with learning. I can remember feeling so stressed doing my GCSEs because I cared so much about grades, and yet I didn't know how on earth to revise, and I didn't have an older sibling to reassure me that it was all going to be okay. And so when I finished GCSEs and I did well, I started mentoring young students in things like time management, revision techniques. It suddenly occurred to me that I needed a place to share this with more people. That is how I started YouTube, and in particular, StudyTube. What I actually wanted to do was share my experiences, but in a book. I wrote in my little manifestation journal back in 2016 that I would one day write a book sharing my experiences, how to survive secondary school exams, how to reassure other people that it would all be fine, with all my tips and tricks and everything I'd learned. I wanted to write the book that I always wish I had but never did. At that time, I didn't want to read more CGP. I wanted to read a book by a student who had been through it, just to know the basic things of how to do well. During my gap year in Australia, I actually started writing all the topics that I would want to discuss in a book like this. Everything I'd ever voiced on StudyTube and more. But as uni began and my time diminished, I convinced myself that this book wasn't necessary. I pushed any notion of writing it further away. And then last summer happened. Right at the end of quarantine in summer, I received an email from a publisher, like a legit publisher. And they were expressing a need for a book like this. I literally could not believe my eyes when I read the email. I'm genuinely in shock. The publisher was pitching a book which was almost identical to the one that I had written in my little manifestation journal all those years ago. It was exactly what I wanted to write for GCSE and A-level students, and they were asking me, little old me, if I wanted to write it. It was truly a dream come true. And you can say what you want about manifestation and law of attraction and all of that, but it felt like I manifested this. Except there was a catch, and that catch was I needed to write all 60,000 words of this huge book, the whole freaking manuscript, by March 2021, which would be fine if I wasn't at a horrible, intense, hectic uni and moving countries and living with roommates and dying and doing YouTube and 100 million other things. Every logical thought in my brain said, don't do it. Jade, you will not have time. Jade, you always say yes to everything. Jade, you are busy enough. But what did I do? Well, I said yes. I felt like it was the last time to have this dream actualized and to do everything I'd always wanted to do with StudyTube. So I said yes. I have regretted this decision so many times in the last few months. I have cried about this so many times. I have felt such a gross imposter syndrome, questioning why on earth I thought I should be the person to write a book like this. Part of me feels sick at the thought of announcing this, but hey, it's here. I've written a book and it's being published this year. How insane is that? I literally cannot believe it. Even though I did objectively well grade-wise at school, this book is not just about grades. I want this book to reflect the holistic student. I want it to be nuanced around all horrible things we face as young people just trying to navigate life, and then also having the pressure of a horrible exam academic system on top where you have to regurgitate loads of information in order to get a grade that's going to affect your whole life. Like, what a concept. That's pretty cruel. I want to treat students not just as a grade producing machine. So I'm going to go through some evidence-based learning techniques which I used to help me succeed. And yes, we're going to do the practical advice of timetabling and techniques to beat procrastination, all of it. But it will also be nuanced around discussions of mental health, perfectionism, pressure and expectations. I just forgot to detail some of the most important and exciting stuff. You can officially pre-order my book, which is crazy. There's not an official cover reveal or anything yet, but if you follow the link in my description, you can order it. I think it's already on Amazon and Waterstones and other retailers. So you can go pre-order it, which would mean the world to me to have your support. It is mainly aimed at secondary school students, so if that is you, I really hope it helps you in some way. It just feels so surreal that a book that I wanted to read, I've now had the chance to write myself. Like, that's mad. So yeah, I've written a book. And that's pretty cool and terrifying. And I just want to say the biggest thank you to all of you guys who have let me have this opportunity. Honestly, like, I'm not better at school or revision than so many people in the world. But for whatever reason, I have this platform and these opportunities and I've been able to reach people. And if my book can help even one person, then I guess it's worth it. So thank you so much for supporting me over the years, for making this platform what it is, for supporting me in making StudyTube a community, because now I am completing yet another dream, another bucket list item at the age of 21, and that's pretty cool. To any of you at secondary school, I hope this book helps you. It's the book I wish I had when I was in secondary school. So yeah, I've written a book. That's the announcement. Mad. It's gonna be published in August. Mad, 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 mad. And I've learned so much about the publishing industry. I have an editor. Life is just so interesting. I can't wait to tell you all about it. Yeah, just thank you for everything. Bye.